Hello everyone, welcome back, and today we're going to be looking at a scenario of what if Korea formed an empire. Now, Korea is one of those countries in WICSO that has done a lot historically, but modernly is up to a whole bunch of nothing. And yeah, let's have them do something in this video instead of them just sitting around being chill for a bit. The last time they did anything relevant was when they fought this pink country with this guy, but that was barely a war, and they really only gained like this area up here, I think. So, yeah, there wasn't really an advantage to doing that. So, yeah, let's see what they would look like if they went ahead and tried to form an empire. Now, Korea is in a little bit of a situation here. You have country that's 100% stronger than you, a country that matches you, and then a country who you would have trouble invading, and then a country there's little purpose in invading. So, which do you pick from? And the Koreans will go ahead and pick to firstly invade into this pinkish magenta kind of colored country because they may have little use, but gaining land and war score from this would allow them to deal more damage against this guy, which they definitely want this land. That is key land for them to have because then it weakens Japan and then they'd be able to expand from there. So, yeah, they're going to be starting off here. Korean forces will very quickly move into the front line here. And let's be real, the pink team's not going to be able to do anything to stop it. And it's actually so bad that the pink team's just going to lose their capital straight up. I don't know much about what the pink team's major cities looking like. A lot of them are in the north here, which doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. But yeah, they're landlocked, so their economy is probably not the best. So yeah, they're just gonna kind of get obliterated here. And the Manchurian country will be forced in a corner to where they will be surrendering over. Now, let's quickly take a look at this peace treaty, which I'm just gonna do as I'm doing this, because once again, I'm trying to do most of these videos in one clip, so I don't have to spend time editing, and I can spend more time recording videos. This is my second video today, and I want to record more, so yeah, without further ado, that is literally all I had to do for this entire peace treaty, and as you can see, Korea is, kind of annexing a small amount of land, but this will do them favors in the long run because, most importantly, they gain 4 major military bases, which is about a little under a third of the entire Magenta team's military area. So that's pretty beneficial. You can definitely use those, even though you probably destroyed them. But yeah, Korea has gained probably the most valuable land out of this Magenta country, and now they have no purpose of having it there anymore. So yeah, the Koreans, they're gonna go ahead and make themselves a kind of alliance. And I'm gonna do this a little differently because I feel like if I do it like an alliance, it won't make sense. But how I'm gonna represent this is I'm gonna have a shape, we'll say a diamond, because I want to differentiate my shapes, and it's gonna have a blue color on the inside. And this will basically reference that it's a defensive pact between two countries. If it adds in another country, then, I mean, it's not really a defense pact anymore. But yeah, we're going to head on over to this magenta country, who is now protected by the Korean country, which is a little weird. Seems there was a little bit more of a demand. Turns out, the Koreans kind of did something over here on the ideology layer that looks a little something like that, but it's probably not exactly a democracy. It's probably like a weird dictatorship scenario, but nobody really counts him as a dictator because been in power for like 2 seconds, and it's weird. So yeah, there's a new leader in that country, and he signs a defensive pact with Korea. That's about all that needs to be known. And from here, we're gonna see the Koreans going ahead and launching an invasion into the yellow Manchurian country now. And if I can get the right color, we're gonna see this starting. And so yeah, Korean forces will rapidly begin to push into yellow Manchuria. This country is pretty economically not doing well because I mean they're a communist country. In this timeline, there might be something different, but I mean Yeah, we're gonna see this whole area quickly falling over, and eventually Korean forces will be halted in this major city here before we head up to the north, where Korean forces will move out of the Manchurian country, out taking these two major military bases in the north, and also forming a brand new front over here. This looks really weird on the map, but I mean the magenta country's kind of allowing for it, so what really can you do? But yeah, heading back down to the southern front area here, we're gonna see the yellow team seeing some surprisingly strong counteroffensives. They're gonna retake this major military base and push back on a lot of the forces over here and not color in the wrong area. I gotta turn my tolerance down. So yeah, the Manchurian country is not just gonna get pushed around here, but as I say that, they're going to get pushed around here, as yet another major military base has fallen to these small incursions coming out from the Manchurian country. So, yeah, that's not very helpful now, isn't it? And the Koreans are going to kind of offer a deal here to the Manchurian country, the East one at least. You will stay independent, but we will be annexing all this area down here. What will this guy say? Hell no. And so the Koreans just slap back with their full military might. Now, with this, they connect up to this group here, which they never intended on doing, but it happened anyway. And yeah, from here, they are gonna kind of just obliterate this guy until they reach this major city here, where this guy will officially agree to the demands because at this point, they have really no other choice but to agree to the demands. If they didn't, they probably would be in a worse situation than they are about to be here in a second here. And once again, I get to pull up the provinces layer. Let's go. I feel like I never do this because I'm so hyper fixated on WICSO stuff. I gotta add provinces to that soon. But for now, that's not gonna be the case. And yeah, I think that is all I want to change done. So yeah, let's check out these new borders. And this large chunk of land here, we'll be heading over to the Korean country, which is a pretty healthy size amount of land. And yeah, the Koreans will just be incorporating this entirely. The Koreans are taking not large amounts of land, but they're taking healthy sized bites of land. And that's kind of helping them grow more than it is if they didn't do that. So yeah, Korea's doing a weird strategy here, a strategy that hasn't been seen in the Empire videos yet. But yeah, we have to head over to the Alliances map because this, as I referenced to before, is going to change. And why is that? Well, we have seen that another part of the peace deal wasn't outlined yet, and that is that this guy will be joining up with this Diamond Alliance up here. They will be joining with the Koreans and their eventual goals over here, and this will cause for some concern. So that China will form a defensive pact with themselves and this green country over here in it. This green country is very China oriented. They're literally a state that would rather be a part of China than be existing. So yeah, that that's what they want to do. So you know what? Let them do what they want to do. But now we're gonna see this alliance doing its first actual real mission against a certain country, and yeah, we're gonna see Korea bombarding Japan quite a bit, and eventually Korean warboats are seen in this sea all the way down in this region here, and it's not looking good. Korean naval forces will make their way to these islands and they're gonna kind of just begin taking them. And I'm gonna start from this top one because I literally cannot see these other islands with the way the ports are being displayed. So, yeah, those islands will be quickly taken by the very large Korean Navy. And yeah, from here, we're going to see the Korean Navy working out of this guy, except this guy's actually involved in the war, so they're going to be invading into Sakhalin, which is a very heavily fortified military outpost of the Japanese, which is very quickly actually going to fall over entirely to the Manchurian country. That That wasn't supposed to happen, says the Japanese, but it happens anyway. But now the main brunt of the Korean forces is moving down into Hokkaido, and it's going to capture this major city very quickly. From here, the island of Hokkaido is basically just another Sakhalin, just a little more fortified. So it's just going to be a very hard campaign for the Koreans to win. Eventually, though, however, they're going to gain a huge advantage as they now have this whole area cut off over here and this area cut off over here, so they can do really what they want. And yeah, heading down to the southern island, we're going to see a landing being made. This landing won't lead to much, but it's going to deal some damage to southern Japan. At this point, something will happen that will be very bad for Japan. And this is the breaking away of the brown Japanese country in the north of the Japanese Isle. And yeah, this area will just break away and leave, just like the Japanese Union never happened. It will also include this area up here, and this is very good news for the Koreans because it means Hokkaido is completely isolated and you can wipe it out completely. From here, Korean forces just island hop up through the uh, Kuril Islands. I totally didn't forget what they were called for a moment there. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Japan's now divided in two, and that will make things so much easier for Korea, who will go ahead and capture the southern island of Japan. At this point, Japan is absolutely in shambles, and the Koreans have a pretty large advantage over them. At this point, the Japanese Civil War is not going well. Although the blue team is beating back the brown team, there is still no clear winner. These guys are basically equal in losses. But yeah, someone's gonna decide that, and Korea will be first kicking these guys out here. And you thought I was doing that to display that the brown team was losing? No, Korea is gonna be making a landing in the main Japanese Isle. This is huge because Korea at this point is much stronger than the remainder of Blue Japan, and this will very quickly lead to there now being three countries in the main island of Japan, and the blue team will very quickly hasten their process in eradicating this brown uh, country up here. And yeah, they're gonna be successful in doing so for the most part, up until Korea will launch a naval invasion from the north this time, and basically reverting that entire progress in a second. So yeah, Japan is in a pickle here, and they're gonna be forced into surrendering, which is not a good thing for Japan right now because, I mean, you could definitely fight this war, but you're not going to lose, but you're definitely not going to win. So, yeah, you kind of got to make this decision now. And this decision's probably going to be more costly than it has been so far for the entire war. So, yeah, let's take a look at this peace tree that will be conducted as I craft it up right here while I'm recording. I struggle to find things to talk about while recording because I'm trying to do it all in one clip. But I think this time I have done everything I need to. I hate it when borders just don't line up. Like, line up, bro. But yeah, now I can go ahead and recolor most of this. Gotta make sure the colors fit. And now I think we are good. And looking at this, we're going to see the Koreans annexing all the areas that are in the lighter reddish color, and that is quite a lot of land. It expands to all these islands over here. And we're going to see this Manchurian country annexing all of Sakhalin. From here, we now get to talk about Manchuria itself, because we're going to see this blue, that's not blue, that's purple. We're going to see the pink Manchurian country being forcefully annexed into the yellow Manchurian country. And this is pretty big because these guys hate each other, and the Koreans are just forcing this upon them. And yeah, that's probably not what you should do. These guys, they're like worse enemies, so yeah. With that, we see that Korea is now in alliance with one country here again, meaning technically this is now a defensive pact. But you know what? It's easier to just create a new adding a new country into the alliance than it is to change the colors. So we're going to be adding a new country to this alliance, and that country is none other than South China. South China wants some revenge against China. I wonder why. Maybe it's because they are like not very nice to you anymore. But yeah, the circle grouping here is a little scared for their life, and now they officially know that the Diamond Alliance is directed directly towards them. And yeah, you thought that was it. We now head over to Korea, who may or may not have had something to do with a new election that just took over the government in Japan. And yeah, that's not looking pretty good for you, China. You should probably get that checked out because you are cooked. And so the Diamond Alliance will once again add a new member, but that's not all, because seems a whole bunch of countries who hate the Chinese are just joining up together into one alliance, and they're just gonna jump the Chinese because we see the Northern Philippines and Taiwan joining. And yeah, at this point, it's kind of guaranteed that the circle grouping is going to get jumped here. And so, what's going to happen? Well, first of all, we're going to see the green country getting kicked out of the defensive alliance they have with China. This is because China wants to see that region not die, and they feel like not having them fight a war is better than them having to fight a war, because I mean, this guy only has 4 major cities. China has a billion. So yeah, that effectively removes this thing from existence. So we can delete that. I also don't know why I was circling it. I don't need to do that. So yeah, let's check out this war. And it's gonna start off over here in the south, as South Chinese forces will go ahead and launch an invasion into China over here. And there we go. I always start saying things before I even have the colors ready, so yeah, it's a little weird. But yeah, South China will launch an invasion here, but they're also going to launch a small invasion into this area here in hopes of targeting this less populated, less defended western region here. That in hopes they would eventually be able to connect up with these guys. But yeah, up north, it's looking kind of similar to that front, as the Manchurian country is seeing a lot of success in invading into these open plains areas. They took 2 major cities, but that's about it. Now heading down to Korea, they have been doing pretty much nothing so far because they can't do anything because China had this border armed completely. And yeah, they take a major military base, but that's about it. That's all they're able to do. As they also move forces out of Manchuria, things are not looking good for Korea as of yet. This war is going much slower than they hoped it would. But someone will be pulling a lot more weight than they probably should be. South China will go ahead and capture 2 more major cities, which the Chinese are concerned about because they never thought South China would join the war, and now they're moving forces out from this front. And so Korea will very quickly squeeze these guys out here, but they'll also push into these major areas here, which is a devastating blow to the Chinese. From here, the Manchurians will continue their advance, taking this major military base here, and now moving westward toward this major city here, and southward towards this other major city. And yeah, the Manchurians are taking a very weird route of invasion, but you know what? It doesn't matter. On this front over here, we see not much happening, but we're going to see South Chinese forces beginning to threat these major military outposts and this major city here. And yeah, for a little bit from here, the war will kind of become stalematey, but then uh something's gonna happen. And that is the joining of a massive country into this war. And this will change the balance entirely. And it's so large that I don't even really need to represent it. India will be joining the Diamond Alliance and will begin to supply the Diamond Alliance with stuff to take down China. India is obviously against China here, and China is really mad about that. And so they're gonna like fully declare war on India. India only started supplying them, and yeah, they didn't declare war on China. China was the one who engaged them. But yeah, now Indian forces are heading over here, and things are about to get really bad. After the Indian forces arrive, the stalemate is immediately broken, and South Chinese forces, with their new allies, will begin to rapidly push into China here, as they will go ahead and sweep up through many of these major cities. Over in the west here, we're going to see this major city being captured as well as these major military outposts, as they're just going to shoot up towards this next one, because why not? Heading on over to Korea and Manchuria, these guys have a little bit of a open area to invade into, so they will. And very quickly, Manchuria will take a major military base in these two major cities as well, also taking this whole northern area here. And Manchuria is kind of going in a weird horizontal frontline thingy. Anyways, Korea will continue their advances, now marching into this major city here and taking it as well. At this point, the Chinese are kind of cooked, and yeah, there's no recovering from this. So at this point, the Chinese government will give in and they're going to go ahead and surrender to their enemies because they have no reason to keep fighting this war. This war is never going to go in their favor because they just screwed it up by attacking India. They probably could have won, maybe, if they hadn't have done that, but they did it, so you know what? It's just going to have to go that way. I'm sorry, China. And yeah, we're gonna look at a peace treaty here, which even though the Chinese didn't lose all this land, they're gonna be forced to give up a lot of this area here, just because they are sore losers, and the allies feels weird calling them that. The allies under Korea and India and whatnot want to humiliate the Chinese, so they're gonna be doing this. And I'm having trouble remembering where I drew my borders in, but you know what? It's fine. We'll live. And yeah, I think this is how I want to do that border. Now heading down south, we can very quickly do this border here. And I think with that, we are done with this peace treaty and we can go ahead and see what it will go ahead and look like. Starting off with South China, they're gonna not gain anything on this front. And in this front over here, they're going to leave behind a lot of their occupation, but they will be gaining a lot of valuable land over here in this part of China. This area is very valuable and it is pretty economically prosperous. Of course, they're getting 5 major cities from this very small area. That is a huge advantage. But now that I'm looking at this, I really hate the shape of South China, so yeah, get out of my screen. Anyways, looking up here, I made a mistake, so first let's erase that. And second of all, let's color all this in, as well as doing a little bit of this and that. I missed, great. And from here, we're going to see the Manchurian country annexing all this land here. And that is the Manchurian country's war spoils. They are stretching very far into this territory here. And now Korea will be annexing this area here. This is a lot of very valuable land, and they're just going to take complete advantage over it. And now you may be wondering, you've seen the thumbnail by now. This is not the full extent of Korea, and we are about 23 minutes in. I'm sorry, Manchuria, but your time has come. The Koreans will very quickly conduct an operation sweeping through the capital of Manchuria, their ally, and they're gonna oust the whole government. They're gonna take over the entire thing. The Koreans are very quick in their movements, and the Manchurian country is unable to react. By the time it's over, their country is basically already incorporated into the Korean Empire, and this border, it's like it was never there. It's completely erased, and the trace of it is basically nothing. The Manchurian country will be completely obliterated and removed from the map. And that will go ahead and do it for this video. And Korea is looking mighty beautiful. And I really wish Korea did more modernly in the videos. And I'm realizing I forgot to fill something in earlier. That's not what I wanted to fill in. Great. Anyways, yeah, this is the full extent of the Korean Empire. Forgot to color in something earlier, of course. And yeah, I will see you all in the next episode, which is tomorrow, episode 9 of WICSO, which I've already recorded. Probably going to record the Tuesday video after this. So, yeah, I will see you all in the next one.